Hello and welcome everyone to Call of Duty World at War. Now I know I promised Call of Duty 1, but unfortunately it's not playing nice with my recording software for some reason, so I still need to figure that out. So we'll instead play Call of Duty World at War. Quite possibly, I think this is probably my favorite World War II game of all time. I think it's fantastic. I think it's a great way of showing off what World War II was like. And I'll kind of point that out as we go. I love these intros so much. Technically speaking, World War II started in 1937 with Japanese invasion of China. Yep, and Japan lost a huge amount of its fuel when the U.S. embargoed them over the Chinese War. That's why they attacked Pearl Harbor.
United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
Yeah, so basically the Japanese plan was we're going to attack Pearl Harbor, try to knock out their fleet, and then hope the U.S. just gives up. That did not work. Now, an interesting thing I've kind of noticed. Private Miller there, the main character for the American campaign, is marked as the 34th Infantry. Now that's interesting because first thing first, there is no 34th Marine Division ever.
Little more than sand, trees,
so that must mean that he's in an army unit, but for some reason he's joined the Marine Corps. That's not how that works.
There almost a week ago.
And it's not like
Since then we've heard nothing. The waiting's
the
over.
34th didn't even fight in the Pacific. They fought in
If what little we know
Italy.
about the Japanese is true.
Also, I just want to point this out. If you look at all the names, they're all privates. They sent just privates to do a recon mission. No sergeants, no lieutenants. Yeah, this game gets a lot wrong. Like, a lot wrong. But this is possibly the reason why I love this game. Is because of scenes like this.
Don't tell him a fucking thing.
And yeah. So that right there is one of the many reasons why I just love this game. It's not afraid to show the brutality of World War II.
Make them pay for what they've done.
World War II was horrifying. A lot of people forget that, especially as we kind of romanticize it. World War II was horrifying. Like,
Robot, signal the strike team.
legitimately, you would not ever want to serve in World War II whatsoever. Not that you really want to serve in any war, because war is just hell all around. But double so for World War II. So, yeah, we got the basic M1 Grand here. Now, one thing I did not point out in... Oh, just... Oh, that's not going to go well for me if I died already. One thing I want to point out, if you notice the rear sight here is very wide open. That would not be a thing on a real M1 Grand. The real M1 Grand the rear sight would basically just be large enough so that way you can look and just see the middle post of the front sight. And the reason for that is because, well, if you have it this way, you would actually have a pretty inaccurate rifle. Yeah. As I was saying earlier, this game shows just how brutal World War II can be. It's oftentimes very close quarters, very brutal combat. Up, and we got the movie reference here. I saved Matt Damon. He will later go on to become the first guy to go to Mars, and we would have to save him again. That's a true story. That's the actual Ryan. They did that program in the 1970s. But, yeah. So, like, yeah, stuff like that. It's like, it's not also not afraid to kind of show how, like, brutal Americans can be as well. Like, Americans frequently kind of, frankly, were racist towards the Japanese, so they didn't really care about killing them. And to be fair, with the attack of Pearl Harbor, it was just a series of revenge, pretty much, for the U.S. Marines out here. Because here's the thing. This uniform is wrong. This is the more later war uniform. Thankfully, they're not wearing helmets. The steel pot helmets that the Marine Corps, well, what U.S. forces become famous for, they were not around. Well, they were around, but they just weren't in great enough numbers to be issued to the Marine Corps. And that's why, if you remembered earlier, the main character put on a M1 steel pot helmet. Yeah, this game is not incredibly accurate. But, again, the reason why it's a great game is for one very simple reason. It's not afraid to show what the Pacific War and what the Eastern Front was. It was not some heroic, romanticized thing that's frequently shown in movies and TV shows. It was brutal. It was horrifying. Like, legit, I don't think I could explain this accurately enough, because it's frequently forgotten about.
This place creeps me out.
Where, like, we've kind of become desensitized when it comes to war. World War II is just horrifying. Like, in every single way. Because the U.S., like I said earlier, kind of had a racist, more revenge look towards the Japanese. And the Japanese saw the U.S. soldiers and Marines as being trolls because they had an old propaganda story that was basically like a old myth called Momotoru? Something like that, like Momotoru. It means Peach Boy. And basically it was a boy who went out to go fight a whole bunch of trolls with a bunch of talking animals, like a pretty typical children's story. But they basically co-opted that story into propaganda, basically making it so that the hero was the Japanese military. The various animals who joined in were the civilians of Japan, and the trolls and ogres were the U.S. soldiers and Marines. So yeah, in World War II, they saw American soldiers as being nothing more than a bunch of ogres who were going to come in and do horrific things to their population and to them if they ever got captured, which is why oftentimes they fought to the death. Also, I just want to point this out.
Listen up. I want to get through the rest of this.
Really
quick
shouldn't
and
have
clean.
the M1 Grand
You hear me?
yet.
Quick and clean.
It should be something more like
Stay
Springfield.
sharp.
And the reason for that is contrary to popular belief. It wasn't that we didn't have enough M1 grants for the Marines, or that the Army kept the M1 grants to themselves. It was actually the Marines who rejected the M1 grant because they saw it as being unreliable. So they put it in garrison duty, but they didn't put it in active combat duty. Until eventually, you know, Marines on Guadalcanal realized how good they were and ended up stealing a whole bunch from the Army. What's that? Yeah. I guess I should probably actually talk about Macon, which is the island we were on. It was a real raid. It was not, however, to rescue prisoners. It was to, funny enough, take prisoners of the Japanese, as well as gather information. Am I out of ammo for them? Oh, I am. As well as to gather... I'm gonna run around and see if I can grab more ammo. But it was to gather information, as well as to kind of draw attention away from Guadalcanal. So then that way you could better... They were trying to draw Japanese forces away from Guadalcanal in order to help protect Australia, because basically the Japanese were threatening Australia by taking Guadalcanal. Jesus Christ, are you dead yet? Okay, you're dead now. Should probably use the Thompson. Now, is this how the raid went? Not really. It was actually a lot more of a failure than you kind of realize that. A bunch of Marines got left behind. They had to build a raft. It's kind of a mess.
Start the truck. Miller, use your knife and put a hole in that barrel.
Yes, Sergeant. Oh, he's lighting it. Yeah, this is not exactly how the raid went. Let's run up, take cover. Okay. Now we have to go blow up the ammo dump, which was a real thing. Again, with a raid. So a raid basically is a very quick assault, basically. It's meant to get in and usually blow up stuff, gather intelligence, capture enemy prisoners of war, occasionally rescue soldiers. But yeah, a raid, you're not meant to stay here for long. And that's what this was. It was to get in, hit hard, gather intelligence, and destroy Japanese positions and ammo dumps and supplies, and then get out. Oh, God. Oh, now I have to replant the charges. Yeah, this is going to be a lot more of a scatterbrain video, and I'm probably not going to edit it that much. Mainly because I think the next two missions work really well together, so I might play them together and just have this be the sort of the beginning of this game. But yeah, I genuinely love this game. Despite its flaws, despite its inaccuracies. Like, again, uniforms are wrong. Guys keep spawning behind me. Okay, I'm gonna try to just get out of here. Oh no! Unskippable cutscenes! My weakness! Thank you, Sergeant Sullivan. Also, I just want to point this out. We straight up leave guys behind. We straight up leave guys behind. Like, Private Roma there's just... he's just left behind. And I can't shoot half these guys because they restrict the camera.
Tell me those charges weren't duds.
Also, that boat's sinking. Yeah, this game is kind of janky sometimes. But still great. And I'll point out why things are great as we go on. Get out of here. So then that way we could play the next mission for later. This was Cavalier Astoria, and I hope you will join me on our adventure through Call of Duty World at War. Quite possibly one of my favorite games of all time. Not just Call of Duty games, but one of my favorite games of all time. And next time we will go ahead and play through Little Resistance and Hard Landing to reset my missions. I can't play Botcats. But we'll correct that throughout this series. Anyway, thank you for joining me. And if you liked the video, I'd appreciate if you liked and subscribed. And have a wonderful day.